just have to go inside and you find something that makes you happy, whatever that is, and then you just let it out.
But improving to greater than 6 miles on Friday morning.
Stars shining bright above me. Night breezes seem to whisper sycamore tree. Dream a little dreamer. Night breezes seem to whisper dream a little dream. Waiting, but I still crave your kiss. Dream a little dreamer.
Yeah. All right, we're back.
I saw you jamming in the background. I saw
Yeah.
you in the green room jamming back there. I'm glad you do your little jingle. I do it as well. I enjoy that intro, man. What's going on, brother? What's going on?
All is well, all is well, all is well. Back again.
Yep,
How's everybody out there?
Well, I'm sure they're doing well. Of course, this is a taping. You know, we'll be checking in, but this our scheduling. We just want to make sure we got something out to you, and it's going to be jam packed. Of course, welcome to the Community Beacon. I am one of your hosts with the most, Michael Seville, and I'm with the man with the plan, Mr. Joel Simmons, the other host. And here at Community Beacon, we're a channel whose focus is liberty. Liberty, people, a place where lessons are discussed and taught and will create openings to a more open and freer mindset, a mindset where you may reach the height of your potential and excel. I love it. I love it. I love it. Today's episode, of course, is going to be, as the topic discusses, we'll be talking about goals and commitments. Goals and commitments. This is a great topic. I know we kind of spoke about it a little bit on our last Friday, which episode? It was fire. It was lit.
Yes, sir.
It was everything that everyone, it was an excellent show. I enjoyed it. Joel enjoyed it. We dropped a lot of gems, and we're glad for the people who were able to participate in it. And if you don't know right now, let's get the housekeeping out of the way. If you look to the scrolling ticker at the bottom, it says to please like and share. There's a lot of people who we believe, would love to have this information, may not necessarily have it. Of course, we all wish we had it earlier and sooner, and we received it earlier and sooner, but sometimes everything comes with time and we weren't necessarily exposed to it, but we are exposing you. So do us a favor and expose others to it. And also, if you have any suggestions, comments, thoughts about the show, feel free to leave it in the comments, or of course to reach us at our respective channels, whether it's TikTok with a motivatorpreneur over there, LinkedIn, we're also located on LinkedIn, of course, Facebook, Michael Seville Real Estate, and on Instagram, Michael Seville. That was a mouthful. That was a mouthful, brother. That was a mouthful. So I spoke enough. Let's get into it. You can introduce the topic and we go from there. How do you feel about that?
That's all good. So today we're going to be discussing goals and commitments, right? So behind this is, why are goals and commitments important?
Mm-hmm.
Goals and commitments help individuals to create self-discipline, to manage time effectively. And you'll remember, those are the two things that we discussed on last week: self-discipline and managing time. When used appropriately, when goals and commitment are used appropriately, they help us to reach higher heights in life and even greater levels of what we desire to achieve.
Right.
So this is a big thing if you want to improve in success in your businesses, if you want to improve in your relationships, if you want to improve in your own personal goals, your fitness goals, your nutritional goals.
Yep.
Setting these goals and making commitments that you can actually look down on a sheet of paper or look up onto a wall or wherever you keep these things, and you can see calculated that you have made progress. And we're going to discuss how that progress affects our mind and affects eventually our bodies, our soul, and our environment.
Yeah.
Let's dig into it.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's get into it. I think one of the distinctions that we kind of spoke about last week was, and I know a lot of us aren't used to this because we're normally setting goals. A lot of us are setting goals as we should. You know, New Year's is coming up. There's always that New Year's resolution. We're talking about the next step in where we want to go, or where we would like to be. But I really, you know, and I was very passionate, and I still am, and adamant in regards to the goals versus the commitment to the goals. You know, because goals are, and let's get straight into, because words have meaning. We're going to get into that deeper at some point in time, but words have meaning because there's the power of life is in the power of life and death is in the tongue, right? So what we speak, you know, we start to manifest it immediately. So whether you're speaking positively to yourself or negatively, you're starting to manifest some things. So let's get into it with the goals. And so we wanted to give you the exact definition of a goal. We see it there at the bottom: the object of a person's ambition or effort, an aim or desired result. An aim or desired result. We all have goals, whether we write them down or not. We all want to attain something. There's some type of object of our desire. There's some type of result that we would like to see, you know, while we're being intentional or unintentional about it. You know, we want to see certain results. And, you know, I you know, and then so essentially that's the definition of the goals, right?
So let's talk about commitment then.
Yeah.
Yeah, there it is. So it's the state or quality of being dedicated to a cause or activity. Commitments are huge, y'all. Commitments are the things that bind individuals together. You know, just like Mike and I, we made a commitment to maintain this community beacon because it's good for us as well as the many other people that are out there. This is a positive forum where people are able to learn more about liberty and freeing their minds, their bodies, their souls, freeing their beliefs and gaining access to new levels of life and potential. So commitments are huge because when you put a commitment out there, you're actually saying that I will divide my time for whatever that is. I will be present and I'm not just going to show up, but I'm going to be present, you know? So a commitment is just like that. It's like when you go to work, did you just show up to work? I mean, are you actually there or are you doing something else while you're there? When you make a commitment to your wife or to your spouse, are you actually there in the room when they're speaking to you or speaking with you? Or are you just like, yeah. So a commitment is big. Your children. When we're committed to our children, many times we're so busy that we don't even slow down our lives to actually hear that they got an A or that they're having difficulty with another child in the class or that they're very proud they made a goal. They've done something. And we don't always hear some of those smaller things because we weren't present. So being committed to something means you're going to be present, right? It takes that type of quality and that dedication to whatever that cause is, whatever that activity is. And so with these two definitions, because words matter. That's what Mike was saying, because words matter. With those two definitions, we're going to start to dive into how these two things will help us and benefit us to achieve whatever it is that we set as a goal or that we commit ourselves to, based on a few principles that we're going to give to you in just a moment.
I really don't want to gloss over something that you just mentioned right now in regard to the commitment part and the being present part. Like, that's it. The goal is something is in the future. It's something that we want to desire and obtain, but that's like the future us. That's us that's the end that's the not necessarily, it's the end of the journey. It's a part of the journey that we're looking forward to. But the commitment part is the present part. The commitment part is something that you can, like, it's something that you actually can do something about. And just to touch closer to home is like, just to repeat what Joel just said, add to it, is that this community beacon is a commitment. We are busy. we have families, we have businesses, successful businesses, and we're moving towards that because we have a goal for our businesses and our families, etc. Like the brother Joe said, but we're committed to making this happen. So here we are. I'm not gonna lie, we're taping this. It's close to 9 o'clock at night. I've been up since 3:30, running around doing my thing. Not running around, being productive in businesses to make money. The brother's been productive in his businesses and handling his family as well. I have Elijah, had help him with his homework, had to make dinner.
5. I did my 5, brother. I did my 5. I made it. Remember last week? I made it. I hit my 5.
But we're up, and we could easily say, you know what? Let it be what it is. You know what I mean? But we still found time during the day to go through these notes, because this is not this. Once you get into what you really want and what you really love, it takes time, it takes energy, it takes consistency, and it takes being committed. What is committed? Making a way through all the challenges. So I'm excited. He said it. We didn't practice that. He brought it up, and I just want to make sure that we're not skipping over that gem of the fact of that commitment is actually being present and showing up, being your best self. Right? Awesome, brother. I love it. Which we just transitioned into when we're doing this, when we're getting into figuring out our goals. Nothing wrong with setting your goals. Listen, set goals. Have something that you want to be committed to, that you want to be committed to. Essentially,
that's it. That's
right.
it. They work hand in hand, y'all. That's what we're getting at. They work hand in hand. The commitment is a very, very strong, definitive response that must happen all day long. Yeah. It doesn't end. A goal is a distant thing that you are reaching to bring to you, that you are either coming closer to or you are drawing in. One or the other. It's like fishing. The goal is to catch the fish. The commitment is to stay out on that boat with the reel and rod and the line in the water until you get the fish.
And here's the thing. Oh my God, we're about to go deep on this part. But here's the thing about that, and with the fishing, just in that, like the goal is the result. Now, we don't know when you're going to catch that fish. We don't know if the Lord wants you to catch a fish that day. We don't know. We have to stay committed to doing the activities, and that might be a little bit further on down the line as we go through it, but you have to stay committed to these different activities, because the result of it, or the goal, it's not up to you. It's up to you to perform these different activities, to be consistent and committed to these activities. Oh man, this is insane. We like to start with the end in mind, though, right? We like to start with the end in mind, and part of starting with the end in mind is because it helps us to create this. This is what we want. We want to create a clear plan. We want to have the clarity in order of our goals and our purpose, in order to do the commitment. And then, you know, this might be like our verse. You know, a lot of different companies and businesses have their mission and their purpose. We might need to introduce this as our verse. We need to introduce the verse. Every business should have a verse, a biblical verse. And this might be it, because I think this might be our most quoted verse of all verses on the show. I mean,
Yeah.
would you agree?
Yeah. I mean, we've definitely gone down this route many times. So I definitely would agree with you.
So I want to pull up this verse, and then we'll explain as to why this is so important within our goals. I think I'll let the brother read it.
Yeah, so it's Habakkuk, and you all know that we've discussed this many occasions, I guess it is, 2 and 2. Now we added 3 on there because there's a lot of goodness in 3 as well.
Yeah.
And it's all about the Lord talking to the prophet, this a minor prophet, about what he needed to do, about writing down his vision. And a vision, a distant vision, can be considered to be something similar to a goal. Especially when if I have a vision that I believe that, in 10 years, I will be very successful in my business, and that's my vision. I see myself as being very successful, so from that point on, I need to be committed to that vision in order to achieve it, right? It's not just something that just because I saw it, it's going to happen. Now with God, that's something totally different, because he has plans, he makes things happen. But with us, if we're going to be the master of our ships, then once we see that, have that vision, we need to stay committed the entire time, see it through. So Habakkuk 2 and 3 stated, and the Lord answered and said, write the vision and make it plain upon the tables, that he may run that readeth it. Y'all forgive me. Let's read it again. And the Lord answered and said, write the vision and make it plain upon the tables, that he may run that readeth it. And the 3rd verse says, for the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come, it will not tarry. And brother, I think that's what you were talking about, which I would consider to be like underneath the creative plan. For those of you out there that are taking like these notes, underneath the creative plan, I believe this is going to be like your creative plan is going to be number 1 in establishing your goal and being committed to it, is create the plan. And number 2 is you want to start with the end in mind. It's coming as soon as you think about what you desire to do. It's like on my birthday, I desire to have a Publix cake with cookies and cream ice cream.
You're making me hungry.
Okay, but it's as simple as that. Okay, so let's go with something else that won't make
No, go ahead. You go on the Publix cake route.
When I wake up in the morning, Lord bless me to wake up, and I wake up in the morning, I desire to have a bottle of water. It's that simple. So what do? If there's no water inside of my refrigerator, how am I going to have a bottle of water? Do I just expect for the bottle of water to appear in my refrigerator so that I can drink it when I wake up in the morning? Or do I apply some work? Do I commit myself to making sure that there's a bottle there? Now, for me, I take a bottle of water to bed every single night, most time 2 of them, so I can drink one, and then in the morning I'll finish whatever I didn't do of the first one, and then I'll drink another one immediately. That's what I start off with every morning. So I am committed to starting off my day with 16 plus ounces of water by the time my feet hit the ground. Either then or before I get in the shower, I've already drank 16 to 20 ounces of water. That's how I start my day. I've made a commitment and I've made a goal. Because I started with the end in mind, every single morning, there's a bottle of water waiting for me next to my bed.
I mean, it doesn't get much more simpler than that. And I like the fact, because you know what you want. You know what I mean? The brother wants his water. Now, there's been times when I know I need to put my phone on the charger at the night in the nighttime, but I'm so tired that I don't put the phone on the charger. So I'm not thinking about the next morning. So what happens is, and this is just the opposite of what the brother's talking about with him starting with end in mind. I'm just telling you how easily things can get sidetracked. Is that I don't put my phone on the charger, knowing that it needs to be put on the charger the night before, and I wake up in the morning and I'm rushing. I'm doing everything that I have to do, and I turn to look at my phone, and I got, I have 5% battery life. What does that happen now? Now I can't leave the house. I can't leave the house with the 5%. So now I do have a quick charger, so I have to put it on the quick charger. But this is going to take an extra 15 to 20 minutes for me to get these to do this. It's also something else I need to think about. Let me tell you something about using these different examples. And there's a reason why getting started the night before makes such a difference in the morning, etc., is because you only have so much mental energy to expend. Now, right now, I'm running on straight willpower.
I told the brother to do 50 push-ups.
The brother wanted me to do some push-ups before we started, but I'm running on willpower, which is fine because I know how to access the willpower. I can't do this 5 nights in a row. Right, I can access it tonight because I'm drawing from the brother. I'm drawing, but after a while you can't do it because because the mental energy has been spent. I'm going to go to sleep tonight and sleep very well. But what I'm making is that now because I waited for my charger, because I didn't put my charger on the night before, this is something else I have to think of. This is going to set me 15 minutes behind whatever it is I have to do. If I go to the gym now, my workout is 15 to 20 minutes shorter than what I probably needed it to do. So I have to make it up there. But it's always like it starts this thing where you're catching up. You're catching up. And if you're consistently doing this, because I'm gonna tell you what, we're making a commitment, even when we don't make it, even though we don't intentionally make a commitment. We're committing to something. We're committing to certain habits. So whether it's negative or positive, you might as well make it positive. You might as well be intentional. We speak on that a lot. You might as well be intentional with your habits because regardless of what you're doing, you're committed to something. So are you committed to your success and your goals, this level of higher achievement and desire that you choose to go to, or are you committed to these bad habits because in your mind it's easier? It's easier. So think about what you're committed to. Am I committed to? And I had to tell myself I'm not committed to not put in my. And this is as simple. The brother talked about water. I'm talking about a charger. It starts off as simple as that, right? These are the choices that we're making and the choice that we're committed to make. You understand what I mean? So start with the end in mind. How do I want my day to be tomorrow? How do I want my life? What do I want my life to look like in 5 years?
Yes.
What do I want my life to look like in 10 years? And then we say, okay, cool. This is what it's going to take. That's our goal. We want our life to look like this in 5, 10 years, 3 years, whatever the case may be. Then we're gonna start from the beginning, and we're gonna get into this. And I think that and this is a transition to it. So talk about it, brother. Dynamic task list that you kind of you kind of spoke about last week.
That's perfect. That's an excellent segue into the next thing, right? The dynamic task list. Now, the thing about the dynamic task list is it's different from a list. All right. Many times we set up these lists of tasks that we want to accomplish throughout the day. I want to take out the trash. I want to walk the dog. I want to wash the dishes. And then we add other things in there that may have to deal with our work. I want to send that email. I want to invoice that individual. I've got to make 5, 6, 7 cold calls. I've got 3 warm calls that I've got to do. And I'm going to go visit so-and-so. I've got to stop and pick up groceries. I can't forget to get milk. And next thing you know, we've got this list of 20, 30, 40 things. And we're looking at it like, how am I ever going to finish all of this? And from the very beginning, we already began to doubt that we're able to do whatever it is we have on this list. So a dynamic task list is different. There's 2 parts to it. All right. So the first part, your goal. When you have a goal, say you set a goal for at the end of the year. At the end of this year, I want to make 6 figures. And you know what you generally bring in, let's say $50,000. So at the beginning of the year, you say, okay, when I go to work, my base salary gets me to $50,000 net. And I want to bring in $100,000 net. So now I need to come up with other ideas. You say, well, I have a second job. My second job brings in $20,000 net. So now I'm up to $70,000. There's $30,000 left that you still have to make in order to hit that goal. So then what you'll do is you'll begin to set up a dynamic task list. What I need to do is I need to either start a business, get a third job that will pay that money, or I need to invest in something that will give me money over the course of 12 months. Whatever it is, these are 3 options. Maybe there's some other ones that are still legal that you can entertain. Once you set those things up, those things are now going to be some minor commitments that you will investigate in order to reach your goal. These are dynamic actions, or this is part of your dynamic list on a broad span. What you'll need to do then is you'll need to take, now that you have it, this is your goal, and I got these 3 things that I can do that will help me reach my goal. Now, each and every day, you want to set up another piece. On today, I want to do 3 things that are going to help me to reach my goal and to benefit my core reasons for this year of accomplishment. Today, I'm going to speak with an advisor about investments and what I can do with what I have in my investments. That's one goal. That's one goal on my dynamic task list. The second one is going to be, I'm going to search the internet at least for a half hour to an hour, or I'm going to put in applications, all right, for a half hour to an hour to see if I can obtain another job. If you don't have a resume, maybe you'll go ahead and replace that with, I will develop my resume today for a half hour to an hour. So that'll be the second thing. And the third thing is, I will consider opening up my own business. If I have something that I can sell, or if I have something that I can serve, whatever it is, or I'll just scratch that off my list. So those are going to be 3 dynamic things on your task list that will help you to reach your ultimate goal. Each day, you want to set those things up so that you know that no matter what you put on your list of things to do for the day, that you are always doing something that will move you forward to your ultimate goal. For those people that are out there lifting weights, they're doing the same type of thing. They have goals far off that they're thinking, okay, by this point in time, I should be lifting this amount. I should be bench pressing. I should be squatting, whatever it is. I should be doing this. And what they do is every single day. Now, Mike, you can jump on this one. They set dynamic tasks that they're going to do. This is exactly their workout routine in order for them to get where they need to be, whether it's losing weight or looking great. I don't know, whatever it is. They're going to set that up. That's going to be an everyday thing.
Right. And I agree. And I'm hearing this and I guess this is kind of what the differentiating with the goal and the commitments is that I want you to have the goal in mind, but I want you to be committed to these tasks. Have the goal in mind, but be committed to the task. Don't be committed. Don't get attached to the goal. Because I'm gonna tell you, the goal of I don't know what our goal looked like in regards to Community Beacon, but I doubt it was the brother having the excellent lighting that he had in the back. I doubt it was, or me having the Star Wars in the back. I don't think when we thought of the ideal, we thought that it would result. This will be the result, but we're enjoying this result. I'm enjoying seeing the brother's background and seeing where we got to, but we were committed to the actions. We were committed to checking in with one another. We were committed to having the conversations, and we talk. I mean, we'll probably be on here for about 45 minutes to an hour, but the work that we're putting in far exceeds this 45 minutes to an hour. The work that we're putting in hours before we even get here, but we're committed to that. And then how the show comes, how it falls, that we're going to let the chips fall where they may because we're prepared for it. And then oftentimes, just like almost every show that we have, we go down a road that leads to more than we could have ever thought of. Because the vision is so much, the vision is there, but God's vision, God's plan and purpose is so much, we can't even understand it until we get there and we look back. We have our after show meetings normally on Saturday mornings. I'm on the treadmill or on the bike or something, and we're talking about the show. And then we're like, whoa, this just opened up a whole new can of worms for us to kind of go into. So I'm not going to harp on it too much long. I love what the brother says with the dynamic task list. The point that you have 3 people. Don't overwhelm yourself. Life happens. The dog wants to get walked now. You know what I mean? The phone calls come in. The kids need your attention, your love, your energy. Your spouse may need it, etc. Stick to these 3 tasks. You complete those 3 tasks. That is a win. If you in regard is in the examples that he has, that's a win for the day. Come up with your 3 tasks for the next day, 3 tasks for the week. Make sure you have the 3 ultimate tasks for the month that you complete and what you need for the year. But stay committed to those to the activities. And then let's segue into the next one. Our next topic in regards to this topic, which is the productive mindset versus the busy mindset. And Joel, you brought it up in the last one. So this is an excellent segue as well. There's 40 things on your list. Go back and look at the last video that we did, right? And when we spoke about the Eisenhower, the Eisenhower quadrant that I brought up, etc. Go back, the Eisenhower matrix, and go look at it, because I see a lot of people that are busy doing a lot of things, busy doing activities, and there's nothing productive coming from it. You can easily fall into that and say, oh, well, I felt like I did, you know what? Have you ever had a day when you went in and you were busy, and then you look back at the day and you're like, I don't think I got anything done? And you're tired. You're mentally tired. You're physically tired. You're like, I wish I would have got something done, but you weren't productive. You weren't doing the dynamic. What was on your dynamic task list? The important things, which I'm gonna let the brother get into next. We're gonna segue into that. So I want you to keep a mind. I want you to be mindful, because these things are coming up in a row. We're not doing these things by happenstance or based upon how we feel. We're actually having, like I told you, for this 45 minutes to an hour that we're doing this conversation, we've had hours of research and thought-provoking conversations, and we're actually doing these things. That's why I know how you feel after 40, after a full day of 40 things you're trying to cross off on your list, and you look back and you say, did I even move? Did the needle move? Did the needle move? Your wife or your husband is yelling at you because you didn't get what you needed to get done. You know what I mean? But you were working. You're tired. You're mentally tired. I've been there. At the end of the day, I'm mentally tired, and I say, well, did I do this? Did I do this? Or did I do this? No, I did not. The needle did not move. The needle didn't move. So what we ask that you do is this. We ask that you do is this, that you focus on the high value activities.
Yeah.
For me in real estate and sales, we say you need to focus on the high revenue generating activities. What are those? That's the prospecting. A day not prospect is a day not worked in my business. If you're an entrepreneur, if you're a business person, you need to be prospecting every day. These are revenue generating activities, and I'm not talking about. Facebook is nice. Social media is nice. It is. Figure out if that's an actual how much it generates. You need it, and this all comes with numbers. So you need to start measuring it, because it might be for some people, social media is a high revenue generating activity. There's people who go on YouTube and do a live on YouTube and make tens of thousands of dollars off one YouTube. They go on Instagram Live, TikTok Live, TikToks and Facebook Lives, and they make a lot of money doing it. That is probably more so the minor percentage. There's probably 0.5% to 1% of people, and this interesting. I'm thinking about it now. Is like it probably depending upon your personality type. Get to know your personality type. Are you a driver? Are you amiable? Are you what is the other one? Expressive? Are you a supporter? Or cautious, etc. Analytical. Get to know your personality type, because that is probably going to point you in the direction of what your high value activity is. So I'm a driver. You know what I mean? So I have to actually have this one-on-one I have to have this one-on-one talking with these people. Like I'm a driver. I'm moving in this direction. Social media is not necessarily the best use of my time when we're talking about a high value activity. Now, I'm not saying I don't get business from social media, but the majority of my businesses are these one-on-one contacts with while I'm prospecting. That's probably the best prospecting for me to get a person on the phone and have an actual conversation about it and talk about analytical stuff, talk about numbers, and in that kind of way. What say you, brother, in regards to the high value activities?
You know, I love it. I want to go ahead and drop this in with the people in the comments section. So actually, I think I need to listen. I'm going to throw it on over there to you, because I don't have my LinkedIn up. Okay. So we're gonna throw this link. So I'm sorry, you won't be able to hyperlink that because
if you go on YouTube, you will. I think on YouTube we're allowed to do it on YouTube, but so I'm gonna put it up in the.
Okay. So anyway, you all will see that. So while Mike was talking, he started talking about YouTube. So I went to fortune.com, right? And what they're saying in this article is that 96.5% of all those trying to become YouTubers won't make enough money off of advertisement to crack the U.S. poverty line, according to the analysis of Mavis Bartle, a professor of Offenburg University of Applied Sciences of Offenburg. So breaking into the top 3% of the most viewed channels could bring in advertising revenue of about $16,800 a year.
If you're in the top 3%.
Top 3%, right? Mm-hmm. So that's a huge number, you know. So, you know, even like what we're doing here, we're not looking to eat off of this. That's not what this is. You know, what I do with my TikTok, I'm not looking to eat. I've already looked at some of the matrix with that, and it's like 3 cents that you get, for certain advertisements, and those things have to run. So you have to really be doing well to be able to pull in $1,000 a month, and even still at $1,000 a month, you're even at $2,000 a month, you're looking at $24,000 a year, which, that's not going to feed a household of people. So Mike is absolutely right with this. When it comes down to it, the focus on high value activities is where it's at. And you got to have that focus. So when you get this list, this dynamic list, and like Mike was saying, it's broken down into multiple facets. So you got like 3 things that you're doing to reach your total goal for the year, or for 2 years, or 5 years, whatever your goal is set for. You got these 3 major things that are going to be catalysts in actually achieving whatever that yearly goal. So then you break that down into monthly segments, or maybe quarterly, So 3 things that you're going to accomplish, and then you break that down into weekly and daily goals. And each day you commit yourself to it. So what does that mean to focus on high value activities? It means resist the temptation to do something different when you have to take care of these 3 high value objectives, activities, in order for you to be where you want to be. So that's what you want to be, whatever this thing is, $100,000, what I mentioned earlier. You want to have $100,000 at the end of the year. Somebody's out there saying, there's no way I can do it. Well, with that mindset, there's no way you can do it. You change your mindset, though, and you follow these techniques, these lessons that we're giving you. You free your mind, and like the song says, the rest will follow.
Was that En Vogue? Is that what you just did?
En Vogue or SWV? I think it was En Vogue.
It was En Vogue. En Vogue.
En Vogue. Yeah. Shout out to En Vogue. So, high value activities are very important, because what will happen is you'll have a list of 40 things, and you'll do the easy ones because they're easy. It's like, oh, you know what? I'll pick up the milk. But like, no, you need to get on that cold call. You didn't want to be on it. Nobody wants to be on a cold call.
I'm gonna give you some pushback on that.
Okay, go ahead.
There's a book. There's a book called The Greatest Salesman. I'm reading it now. Matter of fact, I have to send you a copy, brother.
I think I have it.
Do you have it?
Yeah, I haven't gotten into it yet. It's on my list.
You gotta read it. You gotta read it. You gotta read it alongside with whatever else you're reading. You read it alongside of it. Treat it like it's that kind of book. But what the book states, and I'm gonna think about not think about.
That's what I was thinking about.
Let me see it. Oh, the wealthy guy. No. So I'm gonna have to send you a copy of the Greatest Salesman, the world's greatest salesman. So in the book, it states that if you continue doing the tough activities, initially it's tough. Eventually, if you keep, repetition, what is it? Repetition is the mother of mastery, or something like that. If you keep repeating it, eventually those tough activities become easy. It's once you understand the mechanics of it. But it's like a lot of us don't get to that point. And we spoke about this before in regards to these, in regards to this. It's like my son, Paul. Paul is learning how to walk. Like, this is something that we've already done, but a lot of us don't come into these new activities like the babies come into this new world, where the babies are, every sense of their mind, they're attempting to accomplish, a new level, a new stage, etc. And kids do it as well, up to the point of where they're riding a bike, because riding a bike is not the easiest. When you first start, for some people, it's not the easiest thing to do. It's something you got to learn. So for whatever reason, when we become adults, as we get older, we start to become a little bit more rigid, and we don't want to do these hard things. So like the cold calls, it's tough. I'm not gonna lie to you. You get kicked in your mouth every time because you're not good. But then when you start to see the people who have mastered these cold calls, they don't mind. They'll get on the phone because when you start to see it, it's the same objections. You get the same objections, and if an objection is not a condition, an objection is just something that a person throws at you because they can't conceive certain things, and this is a chance for you to educate them or give them knowledge on whatever it may be that they may think is not necessarily the truth. It's the same thing with the bike. You get on that bike. Once you learn how to ride that bike, you understand it's the same thing. It's pedaling, it's steering, it's keeping your balance. And after a while, you're not even paying attention. You're riding it with your hands to the side or behind your back or hands free because you continue doing it. Those high value activities, those high revenue generating activities most of them require higher skill sets. You got to have a higher skill set for certain activities. But once you get to that mastery of that skill set, it becomes easy. And people who master skill sets, people who put in the 10,000 hours to master those skill sets, they make a lot of money. They live a different kind of life because they've mastered something that 95% of the people will never do. Does that make sense? Like 95% of the people are going to give up. There's a program that I use to make cold calls. It costs $270. You can't imagine the people who are spending $270 a month and are not picking up the phone. $270. This is what one of the mentors is teaching me this. He said, Mike, if I could tell you the amount of people who spend $270 on this system and don't use it at all, he said, you would be surprised. I said, I would. I bet you I wouldn't. I bet you I wouldn't. And this is why I need to master it, because people aren't doing it. Right? So the high, and it wasn't too much of pushback with the brother, but it's just the fact that after you just got to push through, man. Persistent.
Well, and that's the thing about it. It's what'll end up happening is a lot of times I believe what people will end up doing is we tend to pick the easiest thing to do.
Yeah.
And what happens when you always pick the easiest thing, the thing that you know how to do, the smaller things, the things that cause you less stress, less pain, less difficulty, something that you don't have to think about. It's kind of like driving to the local Walmart. You could think about whatever you want because you're going to make a certain left, a certain right. And if you go off in the la la land, you will end up at Walmart like, whoa, I don't even remember how I got here.
Right.
Because it's just cruise control. Get out of cruise control.
1,000%.
That's what we're saying. Get out of cruise control. Get into that thing that's going to be a little more difficult. And, sometimes it's not something that's going to be difficult. It's just, high priority, high value. But many times the high value activities are going to cause us some kind of difficulty because of what the brother was just saying. It's something that we're not used to doing.
Yep.
And so going back to lifting weights, I never liked doing squats. I was like, oh man, I'm not doing squats. Like I'm killing it on my squats. I'm starting to, I did squats yesterday. I do squats again tomorrow, and I'm doing squats more frequently. I realize that it's such a large muscle group that I can do squats more frequently throughout the week. You can almost do squats every day, just about.
Yep.
And I didn't really realize that because you're always on your legs. So your legs tend to have more muscle and less fatigue. So it's not something that I realized that I could really define that. And some of the old wisdom, which we need to get into that just in a little bit, I suppose. But some of the old wisdom is that, well, let's not go that route just yet.
I want to go that route. No, go ahead. Go ahead. Because I know where you're headed with it, but go ahead. I'm listening. I know. We're tight on time. But we'll get into it. If the Lord blesses us too. But go ahead.
Yeah. Well, I mean, when it just comes down to it, this repetition makes a difference.
Yeah.
Makes a difference.
Yeah.
So your body has the ability to expand. So does your mind. So you really have to put these activities to work. If you're going to ever be able to press through those difficulties, to break through those glass ceilings, to be able to conquer the unconquerable, to be able to make possible the impossible, in order to bridge the unbridgeable, in order to build the unbuildable, you have to begin to work on the things that make it happen.
Right, 1000%. And a part of working on the things that make it happen, one of the things that you have to pay attention to and start to do is to what? Minimize interruptions. Minimize interruptions and distractions, especially when you're starting to learn and master a skill set. You have to have, there's that commitment, the commitment and being present part. You have to have that focus. You got to have that focus. When you first learn to ride a bike, you probably don't want people talking around you. You just wanted to concentrate on, like, okay, I got to move this leg here. I got to move this leg forward. Okay, I got to keep this thing steady up here. These handlebars steady. Just don't talk to me right now. I don't want to laugh. I don't want to joke. I want to pay attention to this because I don't want to take a spill onto this floor. I want to get 5 feet, 10 feet, 15 feet, however many feet it is, until I can learn how to master this, something as simple as this bike. Just like with the car. Have you ever been in a car with a person that was just learning how to drive, or you're teaching somebody how to drive for the first time? Turn that radio off. Turn the radio off. Pay attention to the road. Keep 2 hands on the steering wheel. You got to minimize your distractions. And the brother, and we're both doing this right now. We spoke about it last week. Please check out that video on time blocking, scheduling, your calendar, all that good stuff. It was jam-packed with information that you're going to need. We're moving in steps here. So if you can go back and you can kind of layer these things on to start moving in the right direction. So to time block, man, that's why I'm up at 3:30 in the morning. I have to time block everything. I have to set time aside that I can have the focus of what it is I'm doing. Going back to the gym analogy, I go to the gym. It's a different kind of workout to when you're tuned in and you're working out, or I don't know if you've seen the people who are on the phone taking phone calls during their workout. So now they're not as intense as they need to be. They're not doing, they'll lift a little bit, then they stop. They're on the phone 5-10 minutes. The heart recovery rate is not where it needs to be. You could be in the gym for 3-4 hours and not do the amount that you could do in a half an hour to an hour, just because you're distracted and not being on.
Yeah.
You could easily turn the hour, you could turn what should be an hour workout into a 3-hour workout because you're not paying attention to it. You gotta have that focus. You gotta minimize distractions. What say you, brother?
I say 2 things, and a third thing, if you will. 1, stop procrastinating. Mm-hmm. Stop procrastinating. Mm-hmm. That's got to be top of the list. You want to minimize interruptions? Well, first, you're the first interruption.
Yeah.
Your procrastination.
Right.
I'll do it later. Every single time you say I'll do it later, you make up a reason why you can't do it at all. So Mike gets up at 3:30. I'm getting up at 5. When that alarm clock goes up, I got a choice. Either lay in the bed for a couple more seconds or get up. I know if I lay in the bed for a couple more seconds, it turns to 5 minutes, 10 minutes, half hour. Stop procrastinating. Get up. Get up. All right. The second thing is you need to limit your multitasking. I don't know. People all over the world think that they are the king and queen of multitasking. Multitasking is not doing you any favors at all, especially when you have to do these high value things and you need mental focus. You will become fatigued because you are not focused on what you're supposed to be doing. And like Mike just said, it takes you 3 hours to do something that should have took you 30 minutes to do. Yeah. And it's all your fault. Yeah, that's it. I said it. It's your fault. It's your fault because you're allowing for your time to be wasted. What'd you say? What was that you said last week about waste time?
What
You just said it just a moment ago.
Oh man, time blocking.
Time blocking. That's it. Thank you, brother. I appreciate that help. I mean, that's it. When you block the time out, use it for that. Put the phone on. I think we talked about this last week. Put the phone on focus or do not disturb, whatever it takes, because half the time it's that cell phone that's getting people all twisted up. And so here's the last thing. It's a quote from the Batman movie, Heath Ledger. He said, he looked at the man and said, "Why so serious?" But it's the truth. If you want to reach your goal, you need to be serious. So stop being a joker before you end up being a joke. Time to be serious, y'all. You want to make these goals? You want to hit that $100,000 mark? Start being serious. Class clown is out. It's time to make things happen.
You don't have that much time. I think we mistaken in thinking how much time we may actually have, man. You may be mistaken. That time waits for no man. Man, we're getting deep into it. Understanding limits. And I think when we kind of spoke about this, understanding our limits, it's in regard, and this is something I do, and I tell you all of the time, people, like you can go about making all these mistakes. You can learn through your experiences. Nothing wrong with that. I've learned through experiences, and we're going to continue learning through experiences. But don't make that what would be the word be? Don't make that be the major thing of how you take in information or how you start to get to the next level. It can't be. You can't. Everything can't be a tryout when the things have already been like the models have already been set. There's structures, there's principles, things have already been formed, right? So if you're just attempting to learn through, this learning through experiences, you will never get to where you need to get to. There's absolutely too much information. There's absolutely too many pitfalls for you not to go out there and do what? To seek wisdom, knowledge, and understanding.
Let me jump in a little bit on that right there. That's perfect. Perfect. So here's your scripture. Proverbs 1:5. This is one of my favorite scriptures right here. Proverbs 1:5. All right. A wise man will hear and will increase learning, and a man of understanding shall attain unto wise counsel. A wise man will hear and will increase learning, and a man of understanding shall attain unto wise counsels. You're not in this thing alone.
Right.
There's somebody out there that knows more than you.
Yep.
And that can do this faster or with greater ease, or can explain the ins and outs that would help you. When you began to do, which I encourage, research into how you're going to achieve your goal, you'll start to hit roadblocks. That's good. Yeah. Some people say that's a bad thing, man. I have roadblocks. I can't get through. I'll never be able to get there. Well, can't never did. So what you have to do is you research the roadblock.
Yeah.
Man, let me tell you something. When you begin to research the problem, you end up with the solution. When you begin to research the problem, you end up with the solution, because they go hand in hand. See, the thing about a problem is that it is attached to a solution.
Yep.
You just have to research it enough, and then the solution will appear like it's some David Copperfield magic trick. Research it. You'll find it. And that's where we're talking about. You seek wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. Listen, a wise man will increase learning. You got to seek wise counsel, you know? You don't always know which way it's going to come from, but once you start seeking for it, it will show. So there's an old saying that goes this way. When the student is ready, the master will appear. When you're ready to learn how to do what you need to do, the teacher is going to show up to teach you. You just need to be ready and seeking the knowledge.
Yeah, ready to receive. And man, I'm thinking that good old ego, man. That good old ego will stop you every time from saying, well, hey, this person's a man just like me, so there's nothing for me to learn from him, or I could do it better than he can. Listen, man, kill the ego.
Yeah.
Kill that ego. Be open to learning new things from different people. Pay attention to the messenger. I always say the messenger. Now, don't get me wrong, the messenger does get killed. You know, they got that saying, don't kill the messenger. I tell the messenger to stop bringing bad information. I don't know if you saw, did you see 300? That's what I tell people. Did you see 300 when
Did you see 300?
When he kicked that dude into the bottomless pit? He said, this is madness. No, this is Sparta. The messenger gets killed. So stop. Don't bring it out. You know, that's a sidebar. You have to kill your ego, man. You got to kill your ego. So that is kind of the start of seeking that wisdom, that knowledge, and that understanding from people outside of you. No man is an island. Kill the ego, swallow your pride, and go to someone who's been there before. There's nothing new under the sun.
Yeah.
The principles and the foundations have been the same since the beginning of time. The only thing that changes are tactics. Obviously, we have different platforms. Information is getting spread a little bit faster, but the principles remain the same. Okay, perfect.
Beautiful. Wow, that was good. So just in a little recap of the understanding your limits. Remember, this is for you when you hit that brick wall. You know, you set your goals, you got your tasks. You're like, yo, Mike, Joe, man, I'm doing everything you said. I even made these dynamic tasks. I got all this stuff lined up. You know, I'm hitting them every single day, you know, but every single time I hit this roadblock and I don't know what to do. All right. Understand your limits. You hit something. It's just like going back to working out. So you get to a point, like there was this point in time when I'm lifting and I hit 225.
Right.
I could not get beyond 225 bench press. Just couldn't do it. I don't know what it was. Couldn't do it.
Yeah.
So I went and I found somebody who could get past 225.
What did you
and
do?
they told me, they were like, listen, man, lower your weight.
Mm-hmm.
You lifted heavy every single time. Lower the weight. Lift light. More reps. Do that for a week or two. All right, now jump back in and then do a build and go straight on up, lifting up, and boom, I went right past 225.
Come on, man. Come on.
Just like that. But I needed somebody else to help me out with that, you know?
Easy peasy, people. You know, a lot of these things are simple, right? It's simple. A lot of these things are simple, but we need, you know, you just need somebody to see that blind spot. You don't know where you don't know. Someone's been there before. You don't know. And then here's something that I need help with. This is something that I got to work on. This is something I got to work on because I'm so driven and you know, in my short time as I feel like I've accomplished a lot, and I did a lot of things early. You know, I bought my first house when I was 20 years old. Is when I bought my first house. Brand new car at 21. I think I was 21 when I bought it. I mean, brand new car, fresh off the lot. 21 years old. 20 years old, I bought a house. You know, sold the house by the time I was like 25, 26. Made a little bit of money off of it. Paid a lot of things off that a lot of people end up keeping through their life. So it was like, a lot of things came early to me. So that kind of was like the gift and the curse of it, because I'm just like, so now a lot of things that are benchmarks for people, or successes for people when they hit a certain age, I've already done it. You know what I mean? So it's just like, okay, so what's next? And so at some point in time, I got into the habit of just reaching the destination and not even celebrating the destination. I'm the guy. I'm like Emmitt Smith and Michael Jordan. You know what I mean? Except I don't have that. The after they won the Super Bowl or the championship, I wasn't the one who was celebrating. I was already back in the weight room saying, okay, well, how are we gonna get to the next thing? You know what I mean? What's the next thing? What's the next thing? Slow down, Mike. I had to tell him, slow down, Mike. Look what you did. And then and I see growth, because even prior to us having this conversation with me and Joe was like, well, such and such, Joe brought something up, and I said, no, I said, Joe, let's go back and look at this versus what this looks like. And it's and when we do that, it's like it's bounds of
night and day.
It's leagues of it's night and day. So I'm working on it, but I have to remind myself, and I want you all to remind your the brother gonna speak on it. We want to remind you as well that pay attention, tape yourself. Like with my cold calls, I taped day one all the way up, and I'm still taping it, because I want to see what I looked like on day one. Because on 3 months, when I might get dejected, like I don't feel like I'm where I'm supposed to be, I can go back and look at day one and say, do you see where you were? Do you see how you froze up? You know what I mean? So awesome. What say you, brother, in regards to the celebrating success as I closing?
I love it.
Closing this
I
thing
love
out.
it. Celebrate. I believe in it. Celebrating small successes. I like to build on success. So many times, I will remind myself of the things that have gone right and gone well. I'm the motivatorpreneur, and this is part of what I do. This is what I do for others as well, is I help them to remember that they have been successful in the day. Yeah. So let's say you didn't hit your dynamic task, but you hit all 37 those other things on the list, right. The things that you shouldn't have put first. Pat yourself on the back. You worked hard. You did it. All right. Now tomorrow, hit them 3 dynamic tasks first.
Hit them first. Hit them strong first.
But give yourself props for what you're doing.
Yeah.
I'll never forget my dad, Apostle Jenkins. He would say this. He would say, you show me your bad day. You tell me about your bad day, and I'll show you somebody who wished they had your bad day.
Come on.
So Watch you complaining. We complain about so many different things. We think it's terrible, and we're really doing really well in life. Many of us are really doing really well, and there's somebody out there who would love to have our complaints, our struggles. So take that with a grain of salt. Celebrate your success, even if it's small. And when you fail, get back up. See, failing doesn't mean you're out. It just means that you have to find another way. Like Mike always says, another day, another way. That's his adage. That's every single day he says that. He says it so much, I say it now. Another day, another way. So if you hit a roadblock, until you find that other individual, that wisdom from a book or from a site or from an entity, then find another way to get it accomplished that's legal. That's it. Keep searching. Make sure you're able to do that. I keep adding that in there.
All right, y'all.
I think we're getting ready to wrap it on up. What you say, Mike?
Listen, I want to remind you, remember, people, man, we love you guys. We spoke about it earlier. This is not necessarily the biggest. This is not necessarily a high value activity that we're doing now, but we do it because we love you guys. Like, I mean, we actually love you. We want to see people grow. We want people to grow with us. We don't want to be the only ones on this precipice where we're like, man, and look back and we didn't help bring anybody, or at least leave some breadcrumbs to get to where it is that we are and where we're going. We want to leave the breadcrumbs. We want to leave a trail. This is our trail. We're not just doing this. We're not just talking about it. We're actually doing this in practice. We're doing it in practice. So I want to remind you guys to like and to share the broadcast. It helps us out. It helps the algorithm out, and you might help someone else out. Also, next week our show will be on accountability. It'll be another tape show where we've got a lot of things going on, so we unfortunately won't be able to do it live next week as well. But we're going to continue packing it with action, etc. And you can always leave comments. We will always reply to the comments. I reply to each and every comment. If you send me a DM, I reply to each and every DM. Shouts out to those of you who are hitting me up in the DMs and talking about the show. Because for me, and I know the brother the same thing with it, like that's our oxygen. When you call us up or you DM us or whatever, you say, hey man, we saw the show, we appreciate it. Because that lets us kind of know that we're heading in the right direction. We're heading in the right direction, man. So I love this topic. I appreciate you all checking in. As you all know, Michael Seville, anywhere on any platform. You can find me as such, Instagram, Facebook, or you can DM me, schedule some time with me, especially if you're talking about buying a home or someone who's looking to sell or buy a home, in South Florida. I can help you. Go ahead, brother. Close us out.
Yeah. So I definitely appreciate you all. I'm right there with Mike. DM me. And I'm definitely enjoying the conversations that I've been having with many of you in regards to the community beacon. I know there's many more that want to be a part of it. I keep talking to people that want to know how to link up. And Mike and I have been discussing exactly how we're going to do that to make it more accessible to all of you all who have had a difficult time in joining into the environment of the community beacon. So we got that ready for you. It's going to be coming real soon to you. So once again, just want to remind you about next week. He put it up on the screen, right? Accountability, right? So this is a huge topic that we're going to be doing. Again, next week also will be pre-recorded. It will be pre-recorded, all right? I'm going to be headed out of town, headed on up to Washington. Want to go up there to be a part of an award ceremony for the works that I've done. And some of my children are going to be gathering an award as well for the works they've done throughout the year. So it's a really big thing, and we're going to be taking off to go to Washington. I'll make sure I take some pictures and drop a couple pictures for you all that follow me on TikTok, Motivatorpreneur. If you follow me on Instagram, it's tenacity_foundation. LinkedIn, it's Joel Simmons, and it's Joel Simmons on YouTube. I want to leave this with you. I like movies. Those of y'all who know me know I like movies. So in the movie of Lucy back in 2014, Morgan Freeman said this, and I'm only going to quote a little piece of it because Mike was just bringing it up. And it was, the sole purpose of life has been to pass on what was learned. So the community beacon is about passing on what has been learned, what has worked. Because as he was speaking earlier, there's no reason to have to learn everything via experience or even failure. There should be a point in time when you seek wisdom, knowledge, understanding, and you should be able to learn something by somebody else's experience. And then you don't have to go down the road of sometimes failure or feeling as if you're all alone. We are here. Keep on sending those direct messages. Let us know what you want to hear. Like and follow, and we'll love to see you again on next week. Peace.
Peace out, people. Peace out.